How are we getting on, folks? Look at another brilliant day in Killarney. Um, Even with the nap being an on-runner, we still managed to get some very nice price winners. The each way Darasso, I copped that there was something going on the night before when it was backed in from 12s, and it ended up absolutely galloping the field to submission, really, more so than anything else. Then following up, was Snugsborough Hall drifted out to 15-2. Very nice winner. Just got up in the line, but looked like it was definitely the best horse of the day in the particular race. And then Shady Operator 11-2, next best in the Kerry National. Need I say anymore? It was definitely it was as easy as you like, really. At the end of the day, it went off from the front, galloped every single horse into complete submission, and barely left second gear. Was just absolutely amazing. How he was 11-2 the night before, I do not know. But moving on to tomorrow, we have Clonmel on the cards. I'm really liking my chances tomorrow. I think I've got an awful lot of these in here fairly nailed down. Providing the ground doesn't go against us, I think we should be definitely in with a serious chance of, say, getting to maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 winners tomorrow. I think we have a great overall chance. There's 8 races, 7 of those we will be covering. Obviously, one being the patron pick, so we won't be covering that. If you want to sign up to Patreon, I leave a link in the description below. But anyway, first off, the 405 is definitely going to be the patron pick of the day. I honestly can't understand how this horse is such a big price, but there you go. That's what it has. Yeah, but 435, the first one we will be covering here. Realistically, this is definitely the next best of the day. If this horse gets beaten tomorrow, I would be seriously disappointed. The Cahill Dawn, currently priced at 11-10. I think it's a very fair price. I think he should really be odds on in this sort of company. When you look at the way this horse won in Kilbeggan last time out, beating the Greek by half a length, stablemate to Don Diablo, it was definitely a very nice performance. Now, going back then, there was 19 lengths back to Mr. Tambourine Man. And if you remember, Mr. Tambourine Man ended up winning next time out by 8 lengths in Killarney, only there a couple of days ago. So make of it what you will. I'm just saying it here and now. I think the Cahill Dawn at 11-10 is absolutely incredible value. I think Don Diablo, as consistent of a horse it is, I cannot be having it at that sort of a price. 11-8 is absolutely shocking. The maiden hurdle in Down Royal that particular day was very weak. Has been beaten favourite many occasions, in particular when coming up against the likes of Run Raised, I don't know, some Willie Mullins horse, some funny sort of a name. Western Cowboy then was 8.5 lengths behind him, and Don Diablo was another, I think, a length and a half, 2 lengths behind him that day. So 10 lengths beaten us as a favourite. You wouldn't really have too much confidence in it. I don't think there's too much depth in behind that particular day. And as we said, the Cahill Dawn was 20 lengths ahead of a next time out winner. I think 11-10 is absolutely printing money. I think you should be definitely getting on now. I don't think you're going to get that price tomorrow. Realistically, he should be odds on. He should be 4-6, 4-7 without a shadow of a doubt. Next race off then, and we're going to have our first each way of the day. Personally speaking, I think Lucis Nature for Paul Trainer and Shane Mulcahy, taking £7 off, is definitely the way to go. When you look at this lad here, in terms of, I suppose, handicap company, really, he's definitely very consistent, and he can hold his own. His last run, he was 8 of 22 behind the likes of Jive and Jerry, Flint, Ina Boy, Caro Wan, Young Ned of the Hill, dollar value, cool arcade, and ahead of the likes of Watts in the corner, 5 helmets, final orders, shaky try, etc., etc., etc. That was definitely a massive class step up compared to what he's meeting today. It's an awful lot weaker than what he did meet that day. I think he's very well treated. I think Paul Trainer, he's coming down from the north. He's making a fair journey down tomorrow with one horse, if I'm not mistaken. I think he only has one horse going down. Whether that's something tomorrow or not, I don't know. I know Paul is a big fan of the page as well. So, Paul, if you're listening in, I want to wish you the very, very best of luck. And I look through this card. I think you're in with a fighting chance tomorrow. Hopefully, the horse stays up and gives you a great run for your money. Hopefully, you'll be able to get the job done. Moving on into the next race, then the 5:45, and this one here, for me anyway, is the nap of the day. Looks to be the class act of the race. Julie Stowaway hasn't necessarily performed to her merits in recent times, but I think with the rain that's fell around Clonmel there today, I don't think it's going to be good. It's coming up as good here now, but I was down around that direction earlier on there today, and I think, like, if it stays good, credit to the ground staff, because it was absolutely belting it down the rain, and it certainly didn't it didn't hold up in any stretch of the imagination anyway, without a shadow of a doubt. I think, look at Julie Stowaway, it's value there at even money. Look, at the end of the day, it's going to be double your money anyway. I was expecting it to be odds on. I thought if the horse opened up at odds on, I'd have even been slightly convinced to have a small pop at it anyway. I think this Julie Stowaway is just a class above here. Mags Mullins, with Danny Mullins on board. Look at Danny Mullins, loves it around Clonmel, and he definitely knows how to run these into submission. Julie Stowaway is best on soft ground. If it comes up soft, or anywhere soft at all, I think she will have the beating of these in fairly decent fashion, more so than anything else. Now, moving on to the 620, and I was hoping that I was going to be able to put up big price alerts in the head and above, but the horse that I had here, I will say this: I have a small bet on it each way at 20-1, but it's been backed into tens now. I can guarantee you it wasn't my favor that changed it, but someone surely has something down anyway, with Lady of the Sea for Michael Miller and Dennis O'Regan. This one here currently priced at 10-1, still at each way value. I definitely think it is worth an each way. Realistically, this horse here has been a very, very nice sort, and I've always said that she is a type of horse that's going to really appreciate Clonmel tomorrow. When you look at the Sligo win, the way she won that particular day, Dennis O'Regan parked her all the way out the back. Slowly but surely started making headway coming into the straight. He moved, I think, third or fourth, came along up the outside, then coming over the second last, going into third, going over the last. Then he was after pushing for the lead, and he just kicked clear. It was an absolute breathtaking performance, really. Realistically, it's back in company now that it can realistically beat. And yeah, I think they've found a nice opportunity for the horse to get back on track. I know, look at the way it won the last day. It put up the mark an awful lot, but look at she's a mare that's previously gone well fresh before. Whether she can do it again or not, I don't know. I think she can. With the rain that's coming, I think that's going to suit her a little bit now. The fact that it's going to slow up the ground a small little bit. She won't want it soft, or she won't want it heavy, but if it's, I suppose, yielding to soft or yielding, it's definitely going to play to her strengths. And look at, she's worth in each way. She should get in the top 3, top 4, whatever places you can get at. Keep an eye on the Laurie Yates. I think she's very, very interesting as well, but it's a wide open race. I think you're better off going at the bigger odds and back and say for each way perspective more so than trying to nail down a particular winner, because it's going to be a very, very tight race in the finish. I can guarantee you that. 6:55. And this one here, we will be going with Shantu Lucky for Gavin Cromwell and Jonathan Moore. Short enough odds, but 11-8 looks to be realistically the one they all have to beat. An awful lot of these are coming in on the back of poor runs, in particular Chelsea's friend. Maria Francesca, I suppose you could realistically make a bit of a case for 6-14. Wasn't necessarily as bad as it looks, but you know yourself, it's going to need to improve an awful lot more. Offshore Oscar, it was 6th last time out as well. 5th for Porky Rush. Like realistically, if Courtney BB had a run in her, I'd be definitely backing her at 14s, but she's never ran well fresh before. I can't imagine she's going to run well fresh now. I think every horse is going to be hard at work trying to beat Shantu Lucky tomorrow, and 11-8 looks to be realistically the most likely winner of the day. 7:30. I was tied between 2. Well, I was tied between 3 before I really opened my eyes. I was tied between the top 3 in the market, to be quite honest. One Night More, I hope, Chasing Abbey, and That Beats Banagher. When you look at the form of That Beats Banagher, I don't know. I think it's more of a Killarney horse than a Clonmel horse, and I think the fact that it hasn't run well in Clonmel before is going to be the nail on the cross really for That Beats Banagher, and that crossed it off for me. Chasing Abbey, hard to know. Can run well fresh on occasion, but does seem to need the run, I suppose, on first outing. I don't know. I just think there's something behind One Night More, I hope, that's too good to really let go. I've been a massive fan of this horse since it was second in Limerick and heavy ground, then went on in Naas and absolutely sluiced up there in early December on heavy ground as well. Hasn't necessarily shown the form that we wanted to see, apart from the last day on good ground when 3rd of 14. Just getting it up here now, who was ahead of it. Groveman and Sean Says were ahead of it, and behind were Caherdown by Wait Here. Wait Here is actually a very talented sword for Austin Leahy. First Touch, Court Evans, Monstorm, Rebel Walls, Tiger 22. And we're not going to really cover anymore because there's too much to cover in there. But if it shows any sort of form like that, I think this horse comes right in here. It's interesting as going back over hurdles. Well, it was always over hurdles. I thought it might have went on a chase run. It didn't, but yeah, I think One Night More, I hope, is realistically the most likely winner. I know a few people involved with Chasing Abbey, and I want to wish them the very, very best of luck. But I don't know. I think you're just going to need the run to be able to nail down, especially coming in off top weight as well. It's going to be a tough old ask on Chasing Abbey to get there on top weight, especially when One Night More, I hope, has that year advantage as well. It's a year younger and it's got less weight to carry as well. And Jack Gilligan taking another 7 pounds off. Look at it's basically coming in here a stone in hand of Chasing Abbey, and I just think it's got too much going for it to really let go. I think 7-2 is considerable nice value. Finally, then the last race of the day, the 8 o'clock. And it's interesting here. Mags Mullins has the favourite, but Patrick avoids it. And Patrick decides to go for Willie's. Now, I would imagine if of the two, Patrick would have the choice of who to ride for. I've often seen on occasion when Patrick could go for something else in a bumper, say if it was for Mags or something like that, and maybe Jody Townend would pick up the ride for Willie. I've seen it there that day when I know he was riding for his. It actually wasn't for his grandmother at that time, but he was on Kilcrut in Clonmel the last day of racing before the lockdown, the big lockdown that stopped all racing. Jody Townend was on Captain Kangaroo and absolutely sluiced up. So I would imagine the fact that it's a family connection anyway, Patrick would have the choice of the two to ride, of Iron Woman and Zuma Rock. And he's gone with Zuma Rock, and Zuma Rock is currently 4-1. And I personally think this horse here potentially has the more capabilities. Now, we don't really know too much about the Sam Curling horse as well. Very well related as well, being a half sister to Chantry House, but it's hard to know. They can get them first time out as well. I just be hesitant enough. I'd be more I'd be more inclined to go for hell of a gal if, say, for first time out, if it was with Willie Mullins. And I know that's very harsh on Sam Curling, but I'm just willing to give Zuma Rock one last chance. Both runs have been on good to yielding ground. I think, look, it's just interesting here. The fact that Lagos to Vegas, Cool Colonnade, West Montan, they're all closely related to this Zuma Rock. It's well regarded for a reason. The breeding is definitely there to suggest that it's got the potential to be a fairly decent superstar, but just hasn't really shown it yet. I think the experience there, and coming from the Willie Mullins yard, is very hard to go against Willie with a 20% strike rate from 87 runners, and Patrick 29% of 19 or 14 runners. I just think it's interesting. I think 4-1 is overpriced. I think if it drifts out anymore, or depending where you are, if it's a quarter of the odds, it's at an each way price now at the minute. Whether you want to take each way at 4-1, I don't know. Just make sure if you are having a bet each way that the market, you'll see the market up above the actual race card itself. It'll be a quarter or a fifth of the odds. If it's a fifth of the odds, wait for 5-1 at least before backing it each way. But look at that's all I have time for, and that's all I'm going to be covering now for tomorrow. I hope we keep the ball rolling and keep the show on the road, especially in Clonmel, one of my best courses for overall strike rate and everything else like that. I have a little nickname on it, the clean sweep Clonmel. I've come very, very close to doing it on a few occasions. I'd be hoping that I've nailed it down and got it right there today or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this. I want to wish you all the very, very best of luck. If you want to sign up to the Patreon, the link is below. That will get you into all, say, WhatsApp groups, different things like this. You'll get the daily tips on the Patreon service as well, all for €10 a month. I don't think you can argue the value for that. And as well as that, as well, now you won't get it for the May giveaway, but you'll be in for June, providing you stay in it until then. We do give monthly giveaways as well. So look at, for the sake of €10 a month, I don't think we do too bad of a job. It's there to support the Irish Racing Hour, which is a podcast I'm involved in. Basically what it is, it gives airtime to the people that deserve it most in racing but don't necessarily get it. Other than that, that's basically it. I want to wish you all the very, very best of luck tomorrow. If you are going to be having a bet, I hope that I've picked the right ones for you. If not, all I can do is apologize. Hopefully, look at we keep the ball rolling and keep getting plenty of winners. And I don't want this good luck good luck run to end, really, at the end of the day. But look, best of luck, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.